Hey guys, Rochelle here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So, I decided to create a hashtag. And this is around tarot, answering tarot questions. Uh, After like my, in reflection of 2021 kind of thing. So the name of the hashtag is going to be hashtag 2021 card reader FAQ for frequently asked questions. So the first question is, what is your favorite reading system to use? And I'm just going to show you a deck. I'm just going to go through a deck as I answer these questions. So, and this is The Tarot of Vampires by Ian Daniels. Beautiful. So, what is your favorite reading system to use? And what I mean by that is like Rider-Waite-Smith, Thoth, Marseille, maybe a combination of all of them, like in your Marielle, or so for me at this moment, and this can change, but for right now, it's RWS because that is the one that I have taken the actual time to, really work with. So that is that for right now. The next question, and I will be putting these questions down below for anybody that would love to jump on this as well. And I would love to see many people jump on this. What is your favorite type of reading to receive? What I mean by that is like a love reading, a career reading, a past life reading, law of attraction, or, what is your favorite reading to receive? For me, that is past life. I love hearing more about my past life so that not only is it kind of, does it corroborate like some of the dreams that I have, but just maybe understanding why I have certain quirks, maybe why I've had to work through certain things in this life, for various reasons. So, what is your most common reading that you do? So, is that a daily pull, perhaps a weekly pull? Or monthly reading, or do you do client readings? That is the most that you do. And what is the most like sought after readings if you do client readings? So for me, the most readings that I have currently been doing are like not necessarily daily pulls. I don't really do those, but weekly readings or just more know thyself readings, and stuff like that. Past life readings, yes. So, number 4, what is your most favorite reading to give? And yet again, I know I'm boring, but I love doing past life readings. So, yeah, I love them. As a matter of fact, there's actually another, I'll wait on that because there's other questions. The next one, question 5. What is your reading style? Meaning, do you do meanings? I mean, when you're reading, do you only use the meanings, or your intuition? Are you purely your intuitive reader, or is there maybe like a combination of both? What is your style? And for me, I definitely had to know the meanings, but I use definitely a combination of both. And I say that I do use the Rider-Waite system, that is my preferred system to use. However, some of the cards I've taken on my own meanings. After I knew what the traditional meanings were, I was like, that doesn't work for me, so this is the meaning for it. So, yeah. So I would say that I use the meanings and I use my intuition in a combination. So number 6, do you read for others or just for yourself? I read for others and I read for myself. And the question to that is, if you do read for yourself, do you plan on doing readings for others in the future? So the next question, number 7, how long have you been reading? I have been reading a little over 3 years now. I started in 2018. Yeah. October. Yeah, so just a little over 3 years. Sorry about this is a little bit of a shiny deck, a glossy deck, I mean. Not too terribly bad, but a little bit. So you are going to see a little bit of the shine coming off of it. All right, so number 8. Do you prefer tarot or oracle, and why? So for me, I'm like half and half. I love them both. However, if I had to choose only one system, it would be tarot. But that would be painful. Okay, so number 9. Do you use layering in your readings? And what I mean by that is, do you add astrology? Do you add numerology? Do you use symbolism? Do you use angel numbers? Do you also do like a reading with tarot with an oracle at the end, or like an overall meaning? Do you use like the bottom of your deck kind of energy? That kind of stuff. So for me, I do. I use whatever just like comes to mind, right? But I want to just show you one thing really quickly. My sister and I, we are doing this study, and we started off with a interview spread for the spirit keepers. So on this particular spread, I did 6 questions total. Give me a second, I'm sorry. Okay, sorry, little man wanted to go out. So as I was saying, with this particular spread, we did 6 questions. How can I best connect with you? And then the second part of that, who am I connecting with? The second question, what are your strengths? And then the second part of that question, what are your weaknesses? And then the third question is, what are you here to teach me? And the question, that goes along with that, and who am I to you? So with my answers, which I'm still going through, they're on a different page, but let me show you really quick. With the Spirit Keepers Tarot, which most of you probably have or are going to be getting pretty soon, there's the I Ching, right? So that's the reason why I did 6 questions, so that each question it would produce also an I Ching message. Now, what I mean by that is, if you go to the Book of Maps, which I'm finding it, if you go to the Book of Maps, you get the big like chart of all of the different, I should have had this ready, I'm sorry, here we go. All the different ones, right? So your first card in the reading would be your lower, or your the first card would be your lower triagram. The second question, or the first card would be your upper, or I'm sorry, the second card would be your upper, and your first card would be your lower. So then you find whatever symbol was on your second card and the symbol that was on your first card, and find where they come together. Well, it just so happened that my particular one, and this was funny, and I didn't see it until afterwards, but this is what I'm talking about, like synchronicities and stuff and symbolism. My first 2 equaled 9 total. My second 2 equaled in numerology. It would break it down to a 9. And then in my third one, I got 2 for these. And I shuffled a few different times and put them back, and I kept on getting multiple cards. So I took the third one, because the other ones were like 3 and 4 cards. So I took this one and said, fine. So even though I was looking for just 1 card. So I got 2, and I found that one. But the thing about the strength card is it has like a power up or whatever it is symbol, where it means that the other card, it's like double that. So that's how I was able to get that, which equaled 11. And then when you add that plus this one, it made the 7 together, another 9. So my overall message was 999. So I turned to my angel numbers book, and the very last one in it was 999. The Divine Mother Mary is supporting you as you move back to a sense of wholeness. Welcome home to your heart. I was like, oh my goodness gracious. So that's what I mean. Do you use symbolism? Do you use numerology? Do you use astrology? All those different things in your tarot practice. So, number 10. How do you label your reading practice? Such as, do you call yourself a fortune teller, just your basic tarot reader, intuitive tarot reader, psychic reader? And is there a reason why you label yourself a certain way? So, for me, I feel more comfortable saying intuitive reader. Just because I think, and this is just my own perception, and this is another reason why I'm kind of asking this question, because I would love to know how people actually, especially those that are professionals, label themselves professionally, and what kind of liability and what kind of feedback do they get from that? Does it ever cause problems? So like for instance, if you say I'm a psychic reader, do people expect a certain thing? Because although I do think many of the things that I see in my head when I'm doing a reading are of a psychic nature, however, not everybody who's coming for a tarot reading understands how a psychic ability can work. So they automatically think that you're like a major clairvoyant, and I could be wrong. This is just my own perception. And that's why I would love to know how everyone else kind of labels themselves. Like for advertising or whatever, word of mouth advertising on their websites. So I feel comfortable saying intuitive reader because my intuition, which I do feel is a psychic connection, is giving me information that is pertinent at the time that I am reading the cards. So, and I feel like that helps me as far as maybe liability and stuff. But I would love to know your thoughts on it, please. So, the next question is number 11. How did you learn to read tarot? Did you learn in a course? Did you do a self-study? Did you just buy a tarot deck that came with a good book and start reading that? Did someone teach you the tarot? Did you do a study with a friend or a parent? Was it something that was passed down in your family? I mean, how did that work, And with that, were you gifted your first tarot deck? And did you think that was necessary? Do you think as a tarot reader that it was necessary in order to become a tarot reader that somebody gifted that to you? That was kind of like 2 questions in one. But so for me, I did all of the above pretty much. I took a course on Udemy at first. I also read a really good book. Did everything pretty much that it said in the book as to like sleeping with my deck and pairing it with a crystal and putting it in like a something like a silk scarf in order to preserve it and to work with it and, read all of the meanings, the entire book, play with it. Self-study, I continue to read other books, continue to use it and do readings for other people and yada, yada, yada. That was my learning journey. Let's see. As a reader, do you use the images or do you strictly go by the meanings only? So, like, for instance, if you were using this deck, would you only read it intuitively? Sorry, that darn glare. Or do you use the meanings, or do you use a combination of both? And I guess I'm kind of getting to another question as far as that goes. So, as a reader, oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, 13. Question 13. Do you cleanse your deck before using it? If so, how do you cleanse your deck? I do sometimes cleanse my decks. Sometimes I don't. It depends. I can feel the energy, or if I read for the first time or do an interview with it the first time and it is really kind of nasty in your face, then I will cleanse it. Because I'm like, we're not starting off this way. Forget it. You know what I mean, kind of thing. But one of the ways that I've recently discovered how to cleanse it is I got this tuning fork for clearing, or I'll use my singing bowl. I'm not even sure if you can hear that. It's very cool. This is 432 hertz. So I will run it all over the whole thing, but I'll also use visualization. I'll also use an incense that I have created, or an incense that I have for cleansing, or what have you. Or some Palo Santo, or sage, or rosemary, or put selenite on top of it with visualization, whatever. There's so many ways to cleanse it. Number 14. Do you have a special way of bonding with your deck? And another way that I bond with mine is sometimes through modifying it. So, like, for instance, this particular deck, I am definitely going to be edging it. Probably in a blood red, or, yeah, probably a blood red. I think that'll be really cool. One second. Alrighty, I had to let the little boy in. Okay, so other ways that I bond with it is just using it, also doing an interview, kind of getting to know my deck, really going through each picture, reading the guidebook, and trying to, if it comes with a guidebook, trying to really understand the vision behind its creation. Sometimes if in the guidebook they will put their journey of creation in the cards, or for each card. I really love doing that. But in general, just working with it, going through it, sometimes modifying it, stuff like that. So the next question, number 15, is, do you interview your decks? Some or all of them. And for me, yes, I do sometimes interview them. Not always, but sometimes. I actually enjoy that. I have a book where I have done several, maybe 35 interviews or so, and then I kind of slacked, but because I have so many decks, I mean, seriously, but I do like to do interviews. So I'm going to be doing some interviews. So the next question, let's see, number 16. Do you believe that your decks have different personalities and different decks read differently? Or Oh, right, right, right. Or do you think that they read differently with different personalities? Personally, I absolutely do. I think that they have different personalities. Now, whether or not that's just maybe myself and whatever mood I'm in when I'm reading, because I have done this test that was very eye opening for me, and I had a few people that would participate, and I'm so grateful to them. I mean, they're just troopers, man. But I was doing in my group and or on Instagram where I would lay out 3 cards. Nothing more, no questions asked, just tell me what story is being revealed to you. And everybody had different ways of looking at the exact same cards. The stories that they seen really showed me how much somebody reads from the viewpoint of where they are in their life at that moment. At least that was in a small testing group. And because I knew them personally, I could see how what was going on in their lives was affecting how they were reading. So I do absolutely think that different decks have different personalities, and or because of maybe an association with a certain deck that we had when we got it or started reading with it, that we give them that kind of personality. It's one or the other. So, yeah. I would love to know what you think about that. So, number 17, do you read or refer to your guidebooks? Not necessarily is it a deal breaker, but do you enjoy reading in the guidebooks? And for me, I love a good meaty guidebook. As a matter of fact, I would prefer, just like what Benebell, and not everybody can have big book of maps like what she's done with hers, right? I know that's not feasible. However, a good size book, even if you have to have a bigger box or sell them separately, I don't care. It's better for me because I like storing my decks in smaller decks on shelves, and that's another question actually, and then keeping all the books in an area of a bookshelf. That's how I like storing them. So, but that's just me. I love a good meaty book, and I love to see the deck from the creator's perspective because it broadens my perspective, and I'm all about broadening my own perspective. So, the next question, number 18. What is your favorite way to store your decks? Well, I like leaving them in the boxes if I can, because there's just certain kinds of boxes that I do not like tuck boxes, forget it. I friggin' hate tuck boxes because I always end up ripping them because they get stuck, the tabs get stuck underneath, or they fall apart real easily, and then it's unsightly, and then you can't easily put it on a shelf because I'm a very visual person. So I like things to line up. I know. I get it, but that's just the way that I am. So if it's not in a good box, I like to put it maybe in a bag and then store it like in a basket, a rattan basket or wicker basket or something like that. So that's how I like to store mine. So I also have all of mine on like ledges, like picture ledges that are all the same size because I like uniformity. I like organization, and I'm not the kind of person that usually just pulls out a couple of decks to use for that month. I just like looking at all my decks, and whatever I feel like working with, I just grab it. I like it to be accessible. And I know at some point, once your collection gets bigger, sometimes that's not feasible, but right now, that is feasible for me. I do have my decks in like 3 different places. I have some down here in my witchy room. I have some up in the shared office with my husband upstairs, and I have some ledges in our bedroom where I keep quite a few of them. So, all right. So the next question is number 19. Do you pair your deck with a crystal? If so, do you have a certain crystal that you like to pair your decks with? For me, I do, and it's this. when I pair them with something, or like when I'm using them, I will stick it on top like this, because labradorite is said to unlock psychic visions. So I'm always trying to, when I'm working with tarot, stimulate. And it's said if held up to the third eye. So I will hold my labradorite up to my third eye area and stimulate that area for a little bit, and then put it on my deck. And so I like to do that. As far as when I storing them with a crystal, I don't do that, because that's just too difficult for me. So let's see. Number 20. Do you read reversals? If so, then why? If no, why? And I do not read reversals most generally, unless for some reason one just comes flying out and it's in reverse and it was not in reverse, and I just feel like it was meant to be in reverse. But most of the time I don't. And I set that before I read. I say to my higher self, I am not reading any reverse, so don't give me any reverse, or it doesn't matter if it flies out in reverse. And another reason is also because when I look at a card, I try to think of both the light and the shadow of every card. And also because I do a lot of spreads. So usually the spread will dictate whether or not you're reading the shadow of a card, or whether or not you're reading the upright meaning of the card, you know. So, and sometimes it could be maybe a combination of both. Like if something comes out like that, instead of like this or like this, sometimes I will see that, because it doesn't happen very often, but sometimes I will see that as a sign, as like maybe I'm teetering on the edge kind of thing. So, yeah. And I think that the tarot itself, the 78 archetypes, are pretty balanced. So, yeah, and I think the balance comes from both seeing the light and the shadow in every situation. So, number 21. Do you have a certain special shuffle that you do? And for me, I don't shuffle a certain amount of times. Before I start, and I think that's actually one of them, I say something to either out loud for the sake of my quorant, or just in my head to my higher self, reaching out to my higher self and asking for the best possible message. And then I just shuffle, and my higher self knows that they are to reach into my deck while I'm shuffling and pick the card and throw it out in front of me. That's how I know. Now, sometimes that gets to be monotonous, because if I'm not getting flyers, or if I get 10 cards that fly out, I don't take it. And my higher self knows that. That's not meant. I mean, when you actually see a damn card just like whoop, and just like land right in front of you, that's what I mean by a flyer. And that's why it takes so long sometimes. But some of them that fly out, you just like know there is no denying that that was the card that you were supposed to do. And every time I try doing something else, I feel like I'm betraying myself. However, if it's like taking forever, then sometimes I'll say, okay, whatever. I'll shuffle it like 3 times, or, 4 times, 5, whatever feels right. And then I'll lay them like this and go like this and fan them all out. And then I'll use my hand and I'll feel the tingling in an area. Once I feel the tingling, then I spread that area open, and then I do it again. And I do that until I can feel the energy of the card I'm supposed to pick up, and there's my answer. But most generally, I don't have to do that. I can just keep on shuffling, and the cards come out. So that's my special little shuffle. 22. Do you read professionally? If so, a shameless plug should be inserted now. So, yes, I do read professionally. As a matter of fact, I just opened up my Etsy shop again for some of my readings, not all of them. And a few of my items, not many. So I will be putting a link down below if you are interested. But you can always go to, well, I don't even have that set up. I mean, I literally just did that again today. I had my uh, store closed and everything since like the beginning of July. I just was not feeling it. So, anywho, if you do read professionally, shameless plug, put it in here now so that others can find you, so that they know how to get a reading from you. Okay? All right. So, question number 23. And I know this is long. I apologize. So, question 23. Do you keep a personal tarot journal? If so, why? I do keep a personal tarot journal. I was before, and I was doing just a regular 3 card every week, and that was good, but I have really been inspired. And in September, I started doing it again, and I think it was probably my dream journal that really got me into doing my tarot journal again, because they were really coinciding, and I would forget, just like my dreams. I forget them so easily. When I go through my dream journal, I'm just like blown away, because I can't believe how many dreams I forgot, that I wrote down right after I woke up, and then I forgot about them, and how they pertain to things that are happening, and or just seeing like how well my intuition really does talk to me. So I felt that it was necessary for me to also do that with my tarot and my tarot journal. And to see also, it's been a huge revolution for me, or revelation. How funny. Revelation, right? That not everything has to be with the meanings. That was a really hard one for me, because I was one of those people, I needed to learn the meanings. That was the only way that I felt comfortable to even expand in using my intuition, because I felt like I just didn't trust myself enough to make sure that I was getting the most objective of readings. But sometimes it has nothing to do with the meanings. The more and more I feel like you get in touch with your intuition, the more and more that you can read just intuitively. So, but for me, the only way I could have done it was starting with the meanings. And I know I trusted myself enough at that point to then make the rules up myself. So, number 24. Do you have a certain reading environment that you prefer, or can you just read anywhere, or a combination of both? So, like for instance, I don't hardly ever go anywhere. All right, I am a homebody. I could definitely be a shut-in if the world if I didn't ever have to run out, but I could definitely easily be a shut-in. So I read in several different areas of my home, but I do like to have a candle and some crystals around me, and I just set like I visualize an area where I'm reading, and I like having a reading cloth and all that. So if I were out reading at shows and stuff, I would also want to have or create that kind of environment. Yes. But have I ever just had people over or gone to other people's houses, grabbed a card, grabbed my cards that were in my purse or that I brought along with me, and just started reading without all those things? Yes, I have. So I can do without the things, but I like the things. It helps set the mood. I like having like frequency music when I read, something that I feel like is going to open up my psyche and all that good stuff. So, number 25. Can you show us your newest deck? Which I'm so terrible at showing you guys. This is my newest deck. If you hadn't gathered, the Tarot of Vampires. I just got it yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Yeah. It is so friggin' cool. I went to my local metaphysical store called Coyote Wisdom and picked it up. I love it. Isn't it just stunning? And this is the first vampire deck that I have. This is the only one that I have, at least that I can recall. So, do you ever dream? Question 26. Do you ever dream in tarot symbolism? So, for instance, have you ever had a dream where you sat down and you were getting a tarot reading? Or were you ever giving readings? Or did you see something happening that was like, you know, like a page of wands or a page of swords traveling, or like a tower moment, or anything? Even something like dreaming about a volcano and the next day doing a past life reading, and that's how you died, was in that previous life was in a volcano. Yeah, I have. And that was another reason why my dreams started influencing my tarot journaling again. Being able to easily see the connections when spirit is talking to me. Okay, so number 27. Do you find yourself comparing moments and events in your life or others' lives with the tarot archetypes all the time or ever? So, like, if you're having a situation, maybe with a family member or a friend is telling you about a situation, and all of a sudden you're like putting a tarot like situation in there, like, oh, that was an Eight of Swords moment, or I can see that she's definitely or he's definitely in that Five of Wands, or oh my goodness, I can really see that they're being in that energy of a Seven of Swords or Seven of Wands, or you know what I mean? That's definitely a Tower moment kind of thing. Or, oh, the sun is shining. Or when you see a happy family, do you think of the Ten of Pentacles or the Ten of Cups? When you see, like, just like that ultimate happy family kind of thing. Yeah. Or when somebody just got a wish, do you see the Nine? You know what I mean. Do you do that? So, um, number 28. I promise there's only a couple more. How often do you read the cards? Do you read your cards daily? Do you read your cards weekly, monthly? I usually read cards every single day. It is definitely part of my, yeah, every day. I'm either reading or studying or writing in my tarot journal or going back, because I don't do everything. Even when I'm doing a reading, I like to go back, even if it's not that day, and maybe just totally focus on one of the cards, like journeying into that one card and trying to, see all the symbolism and stuff like that. So it's a daily process for me. I do something tarot related or oracle related every single day. 29. Are you currently taking a course or offering a course that you would like to share with others? Now would be that time. So I am actually in the process of taking a course on Udemy, and it is for past life regression. The first parts is like the basics of hypnotism, and then I already had started the past life regression as well. So that's really cool. I highly recommend Udemy. I took my first uh, tarot course on Udemy. I became a Reiki master through Udemy, and that includes the attunement and everything. Wonderful, wonderful courses. I thought they were excellent. And it's not just, I mean, you have to turn in homework, you have to do tests, stuff like that. It's all legit. So, also, my sister and I are doing an in depth study, like I said, of the spirit keepers. So, we started off with the interview, and this next Sunday, we are going to be talking about all the aces. We're starting with the minor arcana and then working our way to the major arcana. So, yeah. And then the last question, number 30. Can you offer one bit of advice to somebody new that is coming to Tarot and Oracle from your own experiences? My number one advice that I think that I would give to somebody new that's coming into Tarot and Oracle is just do you. Whatever feels right, whatever you're called to, go with that. Especially if you're on TarotTube or WitchyTube, and so many people are doing this trend and doing that trend, and saying you got to do it this way, or this is all gimmicky or whatever. Just listen to yourself. That's the best advice I can tell you. Don't follow the gimmicks. Don't follow the crowd. Just build your own connection. Do it at your own pace. There's no race. It's never, I don't think it's anything that ever happens overnight. It's something that we continue to learn. I've been reading for 3 years. I got a good general idea of the meanings, but I feel like there's so much more to learn. I think there's always so much more to learn. And situations will unfold and show us that there's more to learn. So, and I hope to see other people hopefully doing this tag, because I want to know how other people feel about these things. Truly. Just going forward in my own, because I feel very much like a beginner tarot reader. And so I would love to hear from newer tarot readers and seasoned tarot readers and their experiences and their thoughts and how they do their readings and what's been successful, yada yada yada, all the stuff. I want to know all of it. So as I said, the hashtag is called hashtag 2021 card reader FAQ. Let me show you, and I will be putting it down below, or it'll be in the title, so you'll see. So, oh, and another bit of advice that I will tell you just really, really quickly. If you are going to do a hashtag, always make sure that you do the correct hashtag, because people will not always see you if you're not doing the right. I mean, even if it's one number or letter that's off, or you're putting a space in your hashtag or whatever, it's not going to show up on all of them. So make sure you're doing your hashtag, you're putting the hashtag correct, okay? So thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I hope that you jump on this hashtag as well, and I am sending you love always. Thank you so much.